Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Australians, welcome to another episode of Tatami Talk. My name is Juan, just my co-partner with Anthony. This is a judo podcast for judo players by two judo players. So, Anthony, how you doing?
Tired. We were just talking about how our Christmases went, and we had let's just say a lot of places I was supposed to be at got canceled because people got tested positive or had exposure. Yeah. And I'm like checking Instagram this morning, and like 4 or 5 people I know were like, I got tested positive.
Oh my God.
So, just be careful out there. I've been working so much that staying at home actually felt nice. Like I bought a bottle of wine I was supposed to bring over to Philippe's. I opened that and then I was like, oh, the All Japan Judo Championships are on TV. And I was watching it on my couch and having a bottle of wine, and I made some Japanese pork stew with daikon radish. And it's, for those who live in LA, it's been kind of cold. So having this warm stew, nice bottle of wine, watching high level judo was like amazing.
Hold on. It's real cold. It is real cold out here in LA. I'm talking about like just LA cold. Like it's in the 40s. Okay. It's like 46 or 47. It's
Meanwhile, people are like, it's snowing in Seattle and stuff. So
it's raining in Los Angeles. Come on.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was a good time to stay home and just have a blanket on the couch and watch some judo.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So as you guys can see today, I'm from a secure location again. Happy New Year. This episode should be coming out on New Year's Eve, I believe. I think this episode's going to come out. And I know the last episode I said, oh, it's going to come out Christmas Day. No, I know I was wrong. Okay, I messed up. All right. But this episode should be coming out on New Year's Eve. So happy New Year's, everybody. I know I messed up on this. I know here it is on the side. I looked it up afterwards. It's New Year's. It's Happy New Year, not New Year's. You know that?
Yeah. Yeah, I know that. I'm surprised you didn't know that.
I'm lazy sometimes. I'd always double check, try to triple check stuff to make sure it looks wrong. But I know I messed up. All right. Don't give me shit about this. All right. I'm wishing everybody a happy New Year. All right. So yeah, I was pretty cool. Like we made tamales here at my house. We had something unwrapped. You know how Latinos are. But I actually spent my Christmas Eve with Anthony at the dojo.
Yep.
We had some beers and had some Japanese snacks with some friends.
Yep.
So that was pretty nice.
Yeah, only like 4 people showed up to practice. So we're like, whatever. Let's just
I think only one person actually showed up to practice. 4 people showed up, only one person getting to practice.
Yeah.
I was ready to practice, but no one showed up.
Hey, I brought my judo gi too, but none of those guys were my size. So
all right. So that was pretty cool. So Anthony, you mentioned that you were watching the All Japan tournament. I didn't know that was going on. I didn't realize it. How was it since you're watching?
So I didn't realize too, because usually it's earlier in the year. It's not in December, especially not in Japan is the day after Christmas. So especially it's not then, but I'm sure because of COVID and everything, or how to shift all the tournaments around. So it showed up. I'm subscribed to the All Japan Judo Federation YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. So it showed up on my feed. I was like, it's live streaming now. So I was watching it, but I was disappointed because, I was disappointed the previous year because they only show the beginning matches, like the first up to round of 3 on the YouTube online. Mm-hmm. The round of 5s and beyond that is on NHK BS1, Broadcast Satellite 1. So it's a Japanese TV channel.
It's not BS. It's not BS. Okay, it's a very good channel. It's not BS. Don't be mean to it.
If you ever travel to Japan, you'll notice that at the hotel, the television remote controls will say BS1, and then there's another thing, but it's basically Broadcast Satellite. So luckily, my mom for Christmas last year bought me let's just call it a streaming box, and it has access to television channels from Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, India, everything. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, I can just go to my TV and start watching the final block, basically. Yeah. So I was able to swap to that, but I was sharing the YouTube channel with a bunch of beginners in our class. So I guess they're shit out of luck. They can't watch the final block. So
yeah, I don't want no COVID in my house. So you guys motherfuckers stay outside. You could just put the TV outside, just watch it.
Yeah. So
maybe at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Maybe next time, if I know ahead of time when it is again, I can like host a little watch party here and we can have everyone come over and watch. So it was amazing. I just found it really interesting that they actually were calling Yuko.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier.
But I don't think it had any I'm trying to put this in account. I don't think it had any impact on the rules that much, the way we thought it was, because their Yukos are what I would think were Kokas. And then they're still calling the IJF Yukos like Wazaris. So it didn't really affect anything, you know?
Yeah. So
throws that where they land on their butts or they land it on their front side, like they land in front and on their arm like this. They call it those Yukos when I think it's Kokas. And then like the IJF ones are still Wazari. So I don't think it mattered unless there were a few matches where they called Yukos and it decided the match in golden score.
Well, okay. I was going to ask you, did them calling Yukos at all affect any of the matches?
A few of them, yes.
Okay. Before golden score, did they affect them or did they only affect after when they went into golden score?
I didn't see any matches where they had to count the Yukos, like Wazari and count the Yukos. I didn't see any that was that way. But there was golden scores, people going to golden score tied, and then the Yuko decided the match.
Decided to win. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So
was there anything else interesting happened during the tournament?
There's no, I'm just finding it interesting that they call Yukos, but then there's no leg wraps. Because I know for a while, I think they probably stopped doing that, but I think some Kodokan tournaments, they actually did leg wraps, but I think that they put a stop to that. My first initial thought was like, they're doing the red and white sash thing again, instead of having,
they always do it in Japan.
So let me give you context. So, I'm trying to find the post. So basically a few years ago at the Kodokan Cup, I thought it was All Japan, but it was actually a Kodokan Cup. There was a controversy with a referee call. And if you watch the video, it's hard. I don't blame the ref. It was like a really messy situation. And they made the wrong call. But it was one of those situations in Newaza where you can't take it back because the guy already lost his position from the pin. So then they had a review. And in the end, they gave, well, at first, one person won, but it was kind of like with an asterisk because it was a really messed up situation. So at the end, after the review, they gave both of them that year the gold medal for Kodokan Cup. And then afterwards, they apologized. They said, we're going to review our referee process. And they added all these other things. And they're saying, we're also going to do blue judo gis from now on. And I was like, wow, that's a big change because it's Japan. Blue judo gi is like a no, right? Yeah. Then I went back and read the post because it was from a few years ago. And then it says like basically the Kodokan Cup and the All Japan Judo Championship with the weight classes, because the one that I'm watching yesterday, they're the All Japan Judo Championships without weight classes, open weight. So you see a lot of small judokas throwing big judokas. So this one doesn't have the blue gi rules, but in the future, when they host the weight class, maybe a past rate, but the weight class versions are supposed to have the blue judo gi. So we'll see.
Oh, interesting.
Speaking of which, I pulled the explanation up because I was kind of confused with all the tournaments with similar names. Because I read the kanji, I don't read the English name. But the Kodokan Cup is B level. The A squad world championship team or Olympic team isn't allowed to participate in the Kodokan Cup because it's B level. The people fight for a place in the national team and for international participation. There are 2 All Japan Judo Championships. One is open weight and one is with weight classes. And then obviously there's like the female and the male version. Yeah. Here, all the top athletes compete, and it basically is the national championship with the open weight cup being some kind of the search for the strongest judoka in Japan. So when you win All Japan, it's like you're the strongest judoka in Japan because it's open weight. Yeah. The All Japan Weight Class Championship is held in the beginning of April in Fukuoka, and the All Japan Judo Championships is held in the end of April in Tokyo. So that answers my question. It was supposed to be end of April, and now it's like December. Yeah. So there's a weight class championship, and then there's the All Japan championships, and then there's the Kodokan Cup. Mm-hmm. So, and I think the Kodokan Cup is, there were some like divisions too. I don't remember, because I remember seeing a team tournament format or something, but that was by a Reddit user that explained it to me, called German Jones. So thank you for the explanation.
Thank you, Jones.
German Jones. Yeah. So here's another interesting thing is, while I was watching it on YouTube, they had the English names there and everything. And, but there's no Yuko on the scoreboard, like the scoreboard on the screen. There was no Yuko. Mm-hmm. When I swapped to the Japanese television, they had Yuko on the scoreboard. Like in kanji. I don't know if you watch it, there's like, if you watch my Instagram story, I actually took a picture of the scoreboard. You actually saw Lazari, Shido, and Yuko. So that was another interesting thing. Also, the coverage in Japanese television is much better. Of
course.
Yeah. They actually showed like the weight classes, because I'm like, damn, that guy looks pretty heavy compared to that guy. I wonder what the difference is. And some of them were like 85, 90 pounds difference. And I'm like, holy crap, that guy just threw someone that was 90 pounds heavier than him.
You should take that when you get some of the smaller people. Like, oh, I'm not sure if judo is going to work for me. Watch this video right here.
So some of the beginners that talked to me in our class actually talked about, as a small judoka, what should I do? And I was like, you should still learn every throw as a beginner, but these are the throws that would usually work better as a shorter person, smaller person. But I told them key thing is like the grips and movement. And then a lot of them were like, yeah, I noticed what they're doing. It's very different. So.
All right. That's pretty interesting. So another news update we're going to have is that a couple episodes ago, we were talking about how American Judo is trying to do these new systems and styles, and how USA Judo at the last, the last national tournament decided to bring in judo grappling. Oh God, what was
submission grappling?
Oh, judo submission grappling. And we actually had one of our listeners.
You said grappling.
grappling, submission. Oh my God. It reminds me of a story of one of our members that didn't understand that MMA meant mixed martial arts. They thought that MMA just meant
style.
No. It was opposite. They meant that they thought grappling meant MMA and didn't understand that grappling means everything. Were you there that day? Were you there that day? I was yelling at him. Okay. And I wasn't yelling. I was getting really annoying after a while. I was like, no.
Was it a certain Georgian judoka we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, so I know who it is. He's the only person I know that would argue with you about that. So
yeah. So judo submission grappling tournament, they added this little division, and we actually had one of our listeners contact us about it because they competed in it. And I know you got to talk with them. So what did you learn from your conversation?
So there's some stuff that I'll keep off record that we talked about, but I'll just give a summary of what he said. I asked him how the tournament was run, what the participation was like. So, in fact, I'm surprised that it didn't click with me, because we actually interviewed Tabron a while ago, Tabron Lee from Hollywood Pal, the P3 program, the police.
Oh, is this similar to? Is this very similar to his thing that he was talking about? He talked about running a different rule sets in the interview. I don't know if we had that off record or whether that was. Oh man.
Because we had to talk after we stopped recording. So I don't remember if we talked about during then, or I don't know if he was trying to keep it a secret then, but, so this is his thing. He actually is working with USA Judo. He was running that division. And he was like, yeah, Tabron's an awesome guy. Like he has this like vision for judo. And also, he said that it was run really well, but there was only around 30 people who signed up, which I think is still pretty good. But just to give you a rough idea, they try to match you by rank and weight class, but he fought like another black belt, I think, that was like 60 or 50 years old, and he's like 30. So there's that problem, like not enough people. But he said overall is fine. The refs were pretty open about the rules. So there wasn't like Shido, and like basically there weren't any controversial calls. Everyone he talked to had fun at the tournament, but they wish it was more judo. Just like things we said, like it didn't feel like judo, you know? You didn't feel the urgency to get an ippon, and it kind of felt more like BJJ, where it's slow paced and everything. Because one thing I talked to him about was Matt, by the way, thank you for taking my call. One thing I talked about was asking him, do you felt like the urgency to be aggressive, like in judo? Because in judo, you're like, okay, I better not mess up because this match can end in a second with an ippon, or it can last like 20 minutes. And he was like, no, we didn't feel that, because you get 2 chances to get ipponed. So you're always like, okay, I can come back. Right. Versus judo, it feels like instant death. You can have like you can like literally die basically. Well, not literally, but, so they felt like it needs to feel more like judo, but there was a lot of BJJ competitors there. And one thing that also I want to make note of, because we talked about how it's like it potentially just to raise more money, is that they didn't charge anyone to sign up for this.
Oh, okay.
Division.
So it was free.
It was free.
First time free. That's how they hook you.
Yes, it was free. They did mess up. But, okay. I don't want to say things I don't remember correctly in case I was wrong, but I think they did not mess up on drawing the brackets, but maybe they're talking about hosting more of these tournaments and eventually making them worth points. And then me and Matt were just saying like, hey, like, how is that going to work? Because this isn't judo right now. Like we said, if it's worth points, it's going to be controversial. A lot of people are going to be unhappy about that. So, well,
it's one of those things where you talked about before that I enjoy all these different judo systems, people trying to promote judo and try to figure out ways to make judo more popular, and making this system right here worth points. So you get points, you qualify to get on a national team, and you go internationally. If you're focusing so much on this different judo system that we're only doing here in the US, and it's the whole reason why I don't like teaching white belt arm bars, because I don't like white belts getting used to arm bars, go to a tournament, do an arm bar to somebody and get Hansokamake, and you just lost your money for the day. So if you're going to focus on this style of judo submission grappling, you focus on this, you become really good at it, you get points, you get on a national team. As soon as you go to Europe or Asia to do an international tournament, you're going to get shidoed. I feel like you're setting people up for failure. And it's one of the things I talked about before. It's just, I don't want people to get set up for failure, because I don't want us to send people out there and look, oh, the Americans are so stupid. The Americans can't do proper judo. They're doing this grappling or BJJ or wrestling, they're going to call it instead.
Yeah. So they definitely have to change rules to be more like judo and to even consider be worth in points. But it seems like they're going to host more of this. So the other problem is it's always held at the end of the day, at the end of the tournament. So a lot of people were tired and, of course. I think that's going to be an issue too, that they'll have to resolve. And to the people know, this was at the president. I messed up. It wasn't the Nationals. It was at the President's Cup. Yeah. They held this on the side. Yeah. Which is a little bit of another sad news for us. I want to get out the way right now is that, so me and Anthony we were planning to go to the USA Nationals this year in May in Reno. As soon as we were talking about this, we're talking to some of our teammates, like we're going to make a trip, we're going to either fly out there or do a big road trip, rent a van, maybe rent an RV. I don't know what. One of our other members like, what do you mean? It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's like, oh, I got a message that it's actually going to be held in Florida. And I'm like, he's going to go. That's why.
Yeah. Because he's definitely going. He's one of our guys that competes internationally. He was like, no, it's held in Florida. I'm like, no. So I got my phone out, looked at the schedule. What day? What is it? California. No, California. God damn it. Fort Lauderdale. So
this is why I don't make plans for judo tournaments until like the month before, a couple of weeks before. Yeah. Because you never know.
Well, especially with things right now, how things are changing and certain states are having regulation. Things change. But I thought Nevada was very open with the regulation of having tournaments and allowing stuff to happen. But I don't know what happened. That's a USA Judo thing. They decided to move it to, I think it's going to be a week later now, the 20 something instead. And it's going to be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So Florida, everything goes. So just have it there, which is sad because now me and Anthony won't be there.
Yeah. So one more thing I want to say before I forget is Matt also mentioned that leg locks that we talked about were like a gentleman's agreement. So you basically talk beforehand with the other competitor, like whether you want to do leg locks or not. So it's a very casual thing. And I think if you're going to do it for fun, then sure, keep doing it. Right. But making it worth points and it's going to be like that kind of structure, then you're going to have to tighten things up a lot. Otherwise you're going to see a lot of people say like, well, I didn't agree to leg locks. Like, You know, that kind of stuff happen when you have stakes on the table. So
head and gritted leg locks. I'm losing the match. Screw it. Knee bar. Boom.
Yeah.
Heel hook. Sorry, man. You just win. Pop.
Yeah, but thank you. Thank you again, Matt. Glad you told me that you listen to our podcast and you like it a lot. So thanks for spending the time talking to me.
Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate the support and we appreciate the feedback. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So another thing of a fan helping us out is that in that same last episode, we talked about the American Judo system, and that's the Jimmy Pedro and the Travis Stevens.
Part of me kind of wish we recorded like a week
before,
after a week after. It was literally after we recorded, we heard about this news that we're about to talk about. So so now we're doing another episode on it.
Well, it's a slide. We're just doing some updates right now. It's not all updates, guys. It's going to be some other interesting stuff at the end. Hopefully you'll like it. But okay, so I'm going to give my shout out to 510 Judo up in the Bay, represent all day, helping us out here by sending me a message. Actually, he put it out on his own Instagram, but a message he sent directly to us also is that he got a message from USA Judo stating that next year, and this was something that some people may know or may not know, that next year, USA Judo is raising their rates from $75 to $100. So your monthly your yearly dues to USA Judo for insurance and tournaments and all that will go from $75 right now to $100. But what they're kicking into it, what they're going to add, give you a little incentive right there, is that they're doing a partnership with American Judo System, the Jimmy Pedro, Travis Stevens system they've been putting out there. Now, I don't know how much of the system you're going to get to look at, if you're going to get all the videos, all the text that they have, all their PDFs, all the live streams, because I know that's one thing Anthony's very interested in that he didn't see when he was doing it for that 1 month. But you're going to get a great deal. So, Anthony, how much was 1 month of American Judo System cost again? Do you remember?
It was like $50, but then I got it on a discount for $30. They were having a sale. So, I mean, the sale was going on for a long time. So I'm just assuming they weren't getting that many people. That's my guess.
$50 a month went to $30 a month. And now I don't know how much kickback is going to be that USA Judo is going to give to American Judo System. But so for an extra $25 for 1 year membership to American Judo System. So Anthony, we do the math for me. So what's 25 divided by 12?
Let me do that. I don't want to give, it's like $2 a month.
$2 a month. So you're going to get American Judo System for $2 a month. That's crazy. This fool right here spent $30 for 1 month.
So, hey, I gotta review it to give you guys content. But let me start by, I don't know where he's getting this, because one, I didn't get an email from USA Judo. Did you?
Well, here's this one thing. Okay, so I'm going to admit, okay, I'm a member of USJA, USJF, USA Judo. Because I'm not competing in any USA Judo tournaments, I wasn't a member at that time. It was actually kind of funny because it was that day he sent us the email because I was planning to go to the USA Nationals. I just re-registered early that morning, like at 8 or 9 o'clock that same morning, but I never got that email. I didn't get it either. And I don't doubt that they would put an email out there that they didn't believe or didn't really receive. I didn't
get any emails. The last email I got from USA Judo was me paying my membership and my showdown rank. Actually, not even my showdown rank verification got an email. So,
well, it also could be that it's a coach's email or a dojo email. So for us, if I would have gone to
but why? If you're going to increase the membership price, then you got to let your members know, not just the coaches.
Well, no. But here's the thing, though, because I've known that the membership was going to go up for a few months now. Philippe told me like maybe 2 or 3 months ago that USA Judo is raising their price to $100.
That's different though. You still have to let people know. Like that's because but then how? Like for example, Scotty is USA Judo. What? Yeah, not Scotty. Peter's USA Judo, I think. So he's gonna next year. If I don't tell him next year, he's gonna be like, what the hell? Why is everything else why is USAJA $60 and why is this like 100? Hey,
USA Judo. No, here's another thing for you then. Okay, we're gonna get on USA Judo's last right for a second. All right, I love you guys. All right, we're just gonna talk about little things that annoy us. USA Judo USA Judo, USJF, and USJ had an agreement. We're supposed to have an agreement, I believe, where they're all supposed to cost the same. They're all supposed to cost $70. Okay?
Really? I don't think so.
Well, this is what I heard a long time ago. This is a long time ago. Okay. Before COVID. This is the before COVID thing. That they're all supposed to be $70. After COVID, after stuff started reopening last year, USA Judo just upped their thing $5. They didn't tell nobody that they're going to be the same price, that they're going to up. I don't remember getting nothing about that. Not even our head instructor, Philippe, or Sensei Gary knew about it. Just out of nowhere, like, oh yeah, someone said that USA Judo is now $75. And we looked on the website, like, oh, so yeah.
I got an email. I got an email about the increase.
Did you? Then
yeah. So about that increase years ago. Okay, so now I just went on USA Judo's website. Doesn't say anything about it. And I just logged into the membership renewal, and I was like, okay, I'm going to renew now. Still $75. So maybe they. Well,
yeah, it's not go up till next year. So
yeah, but you okay. That's not how they usually announce it though. Like when they announced the $5 increase from 70 to 75, they mentioned it in the email like a month or two before. Like, hey, next year we're gonna increase it. So if you wanna renew now. That's what they said basically.
I never got that email, or if I did, I may delete it, not fully reading it. I don't remember that. All I remember is it just being out of nowhere. They raised it $5 after when they were all supposed to be the same price and also be working together also. But if this is true, if 510 Judo did get this email and is putting it out there, I don't think they're lying. I have no reason to think they're lying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll send him a message and ask him. Yeah.
Yeah. And I really appreciate you guys helping us out, sending us this information. But this is pretty interesting that Jimmy Pedro is kind of getting what he wanted, hook or by crook. I'm going to become the American judo coach, whether you like it or not. So that's interesting.
Yeah. So I don't have a horse in this race because I kind of already talked about it. Like doesn't really affect me because again, most of the stuff I think you learn at the dojo anyway. So this is more for helping USA Judo start more clubs and then get more membership fees. And I'm just surprised that they're doing this because like it makes you wonder what kind of arrangement are they getting. 510. If you look at 510 Judo's Instagram video, Jonah actually talked about it. Like he had the same thoughts as me. Maybe USA Judo. Okay. Confusing. Jimmy Pedro's USA Judo, American Judo system. Maybe they're not getting as many members as they thought. So maybe this is why their way of growing, like getting a user base. You know how startups in Silicon Valley, they dump money into it at first to promote growth. Like Uber was losing money for a long time before they started making money. So maybe they're trying to get that growth and user base bought in before they start like looking at profits.
You just get a lot of cheap guys like me to just watch the YouTube channel, you know? Yeah.
So in a way, for me, back to the membership increase first, before I forget about this, you can look at it as I'm being forced to buy a membership program that I don't need. I don't want, because I don't want, I wouldn't pay for it, honestly, personally. You can look at it as that. Or you can just look at it as USA Judo increasing the price, and this is like making it easier to stomach. And you're also getting something out of it for the people who find it useful. Because we talked about and knew for a long time that everyone should increase the membership price. What they do with the money is another story, because we think they're the money we're giving them is being wasted. But we were saying like you need to charge more. Everyone's been saying that in the judo community. They need to charge more. $60, $70 a year is way too low. Assuming they market judo, give back to grassroots judo, like that's a different story, but they should charge more. So then we knew the increase was coming because they haven't increased in years and inflation's going up. Everything's becoming more expensive. So you can look at either way. Either you're getting something out of it from the price increase that was coming anyway, or now you're like you're being forced to pay for something. And that totally depends on the deal that they had set up with Jimmy Pedro and USA Judo. In terms of my hypothesis of what happened, this is my guess, is that Jimmy's probably giving it away for free because it costs him nothing to give away this program to the members for free. There's a fixed cost of setting up the program online, and then giving it to people doesn't really cost them anything. Yeah. So he probably has I'm guessing he probably has a deal to do that. And in the future, when they do set up like clubs or systems with this program, he has the permission to use the USA Judo name.
Yeah.
I think that might be an arrangement that they have.
Get that letterhead. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, hey, I'll just use this program and just let me use that logo name to advertise and market and everything. So I think Jimmy Pedro's, I mean, like, agree or disagree with him, it's a pretty smart thing to do, especially registering that USA Judo.
He did, like I said, hook up by crook. He got what he wanted, and I appreciate it. I respect that. I have to say, I respect what he did, man. He gangster. Man, that's some gangsta ass shit he did right there. All right, he came in guns a-blazing, taking no prisoners. Side thing. If you're in Florida and you're a member of American Judo System, they're gonna have a clinic out there. It's a 3-day clinic, I believe. I got a thing about it this morning. I was reading it. So if you're in Florida, doing stuff. So I don't know if it's just a coaching clinic or just if it's a teaching clinic, but something to look into if you're interested in doing it. If you're out there.
Yeah. I mean, this is good, I think, because if they, along with the official name of American USA Judo, and imagine that coaching class we were talking about last episode.
Yeah.
If that becomes recognized by USA Judo for coaching, then people are going to take it, even though it's expensive as hell. Like, I mean, how much did I pay for my coaching clinic? $40.
Yeah.
Like, our coaching clinic was $40, and we mailed like another $80 or $70 to the USJA, something like that. So it comes up to like 100 and something, right? The Jimmy Pedro coaching thing was like, I think it was close to 300.
It's 100 something just for the clinic. It's like,
yeah. So you see how it's like increasing the value people see of getting out of this stuff. It's if people like start accepting that as the norm, kind of like BJJ clinics, they cost that much, even more, right? I mean, going to a clinic of Jimmy Pedro's caliber in BJJ, like going to like a Hodge Gracie thing, would be like $300 or $500. So if we can make this more acceptable in judo, then I'm sure people would start seeing more money in the coffer. But yeah, in the end, we still need you need another piece of the puzzle. I mean, I went to Nicholas Gill's clinic. I went to Neil's Adam clinic actually had a lot of people, but most of them were kids. And honestly, I don't think
kids. You say like, they were like when the very few adults are there. All the adults
both clinics, there weren't. Well, the Neil's Adam clinic had a lot of people, but most of them were kids. The Nicholas Gill clinic didn't have that much people, but it was a 2-day clinic. There was like maybe like 20, 30 people, which isn't that much. And honestly, the Nicholas Gill clinic was worth every penny I paid for it. It was, other than the fact that I wasn't allowed to record and I was at the uke, so I couldn't see the demonstration really because I was the uke, because I was the only adult there in that room. So I don't think the kids get that much out of it, because I don't think if I was a kid, I'd be able to understand any of this crap. Like, it's more like, oh, meet this Olympian, like train with him, take pictures of them, get his autograph. Like, it's kind of like that thing. Yeah. So we need more adults to learn and go to these clinics. And if you increase the price without people caring about it, then right now it's not that expensive and people aren't going. So if you make it $300, why would people go? So you still need that other piece of the puzzle, which is increasing the demand. So people would pay this price for it.
That's always a problem with judo. Yeah. It's always a problem with judo, like how cheap we are. It's like we're too humble for our own good. We want to be like, oh, we want to be the affordable martial arts. We want people to come and afford to come to us.
But it's affordable. People still don't come.
Yeah, it's affordable. Then people's like, oh, if judo's $40 a month, $50 a month, they must be cheap. That means judo must not be that good. Or
see, that's Jimmy Pedro. That's Jimmy Pedro and Travis Stevens' philosophy, is that there is no other piece of the puzzle. We increase the price, people will come because they see the value in it. So I don't agree with that. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, if I didn't want to go to the clinic at $40, I'm not going to go to the clinic at $300. So
I'd like to go to the clinic for $40. I would definitely go to the clinic for $40.
In fact, like if the Neil Adams clinic was $300, I wouldn't have went. Honestly, like, really? Seriously, I would not have went. This is obviously from after the fact of going and seeing what I got out of it. Now the Nicholas Gill clinic, I would have went for $300. after seeing it.
So
other
some clinic, some other people one time. Yeah. Okay, so it's a one-time thing. Then you would say,
yeah.
It's a once in a, so if Neil Adams came, his clinic was $300. It's a one-time thing. You'd be like, okay, I'll go to it once for $300. But if he comes every year or once every 4 years or 5 years or something, like, nah, I'm like, good. One was good enough.
I only went because I was curious what it was like. I mean, Neil Adams has uploaded stuff on the internet where he's teaching, running a seminar and stuff. But he was like, those seminars were not in the US. So if you just see their seminars on YouTube, it's very technical, which I like. I like that kind of clinic. But then he didn't do that here. And I think he was teaching to the room. Like, again, most of them were kids. So I didn't get much out of it, so I wouldn't pay for it again. But Nicholas Gill, I got a lot out of it because he just focused on one technique, well, one or two techniques, one stand-up, one newaza, and he went into so much detail on it. So you don't get overloaded. And actually, even though I wasn't allowed to record, I got some stuff out of it. Plus, he had a Q&A session afterwards where he was really open about answering a lot of what he did to grow judo in Canada to what it is right now. So I asked a lot of politics and funding and what did he do? And he basically said money. We just threw money at the problem. And they were lucky that they had an Olympic medalist that helped bring more funding into Judo Canada, and that helped grow judo in Canada because they had that funding and they were able to ask for more. But here we had multiple Olympic medalists and that didn't help. So yeah, that's not.
They didn't throw money at the problem. That's why.
Well, they were only able to get the money because they have a medalist, but here they don't. So we had a double gold medalist and that didn't work.
Yeah.
So
what happened to her?
Yeah.
Now, two-time PFL women's champion. Now she's in a bidding war between Bellator and the UFC.
Yeah. So Nicholas Gill, clinic worth it. Some other person I'd probably pay I'd even pay $500 for is Go Sonoda. Go Sonoda, I would pay $500 for. I would pay for Jane Bridge $500. Darcel Yanti, I would pay $500 for that. Like, you can't get that level of instruction without living at those countries and being top level athletes, I think. So unless they do the same thing that Neil Adams does, like, you guys can't understand it. So here's some warm up drills.
I'm gonna teach. Let me see. Is the room? Yeah, a bunch of idiots. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna dumb this down a little bit.
Yeah, but so that's where I disagree with Jimmy Pedro and Travis, is that I don't think increasing the price is just gonna
automatically make it
more valuable. More people want to sign up. When the judo base is shrinking, that means the demand for judo is shrinking already. Think about basic economics. When the demand for your product or service is shrinking, increasing the price by a lot, I'm not even talking about 10 or $20, like by hundreds of dollars, people aren't going to be like, oh, it costs more now. Maybe I should give it a try. Like, no. Supply and demand doesn't work like that.
Yeah, God, it's just this weird thing. And people always say, like, how do we advertise judo? It's just, we advertise through community centers, schools, and stuff like that. And it sucks because grappling, well, BJJ, okay? BJJ gets free advertisement. Every UFC, every Bellator, every Ryzen, every MMA, any MMA federation comes out. They give so much weight to a BJJ belt. Like, oh, they have a BJJ blue belt, BJJ purple belt. Oh, they're a 5-time BJJ world champion as a brown belt. Like, MMA gives so much weight to BJJ. But if someone's a judo player and a good judo player, they're like, oh yeah, they're on the national team at this country, or oh yeah, they're a black belt in judo. They'll barely mention it or something. It's just BJJ gets so much free publicity, and I wish we can get that. I wish we get that. Even with Kayla Harrison doing super well, they talk about her BJJ, but they don't like. It's like they don't give weight to it when they talk about it. It's like, oh yeah, she just happens to be a good fighter, but
exactly.
Oh yeah, she's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. Whatever.
One of the logics that they use was like back to what I said, the more you charge, the more people will be interested. Like, okay, that might work for you, Jimmy Pedro, but it's like, hey, learn judo from Anthony and Juan for $300 an hour. People are like, who the fuck are these guys? You know, like, why pay $300?
Or Tatami Talk. What do you mean? You want to learn judo from Tatami Talk?
Yeah, it's like, okay, I don't have Olympic bronze or Olympic silver medals to so they can charge that, but we can't, right? And
hey, 2-time national champion here. All right.
Yeah. And even like I've been asking beginners, I've been like, do you know who Jimmy Pedro is? Do you know who Travis Stevens is? No, I don't. So like,
what?
These are people coming into judo. So how are you going to grow judo to people who don't know about judo if people training judo don't know who you are?
Yeah. It's just, to me, it's always the best free advertisement that I wish we got was just from MMA. Like we can't do kickboxing, okay? Because we're not striking art, okay? Because like even with kickboxing, when you watch Glory or K1, be like, oh, he's a black belt in karate, or he does Dutch kickboxing or Muay Thai kickboxing. So I like just adds names to it. But when it comes to MMA, it's just, okay, you say they're a judo player and they're like, okay, whatever, they're a judo player. But they'll be like, oh, he's a sambo player. Oh, that's a little interesting. But I think it's a hard thing for any grappling martial arts. Even with America, with us being a wrestling country, a lot of schools don't have wrestling anymore. Like there's a few of our students that ask me like, hey, since Juan, you wrestled, right? It's like, yeah, I wrestled most of my life. It's my first grappling style. I'm like, what do you think of it? It's like, I love wrestling. If your high school has it, you should do it. And like most of our students, they don't have, like only one of our students has high school wrestling.
We had another one, but he stopped coming. So
yeah, like I started wrestling when I was in elementary school, I wrestled in elementary school, middle school, and high school. These kids don't even have it anymore. So it's hard to find places like my buddies that do catch wrestling. It's so hard to find a good catch wrestling place and a real catch wrestling place. Because a lot of places they'll say, oh yeah, we do catch, and you go there and it's just BJJ stuff. Catch will never lay on their back for that long. Catch doesn't do rear naked chokes like that. Chokes aren't allowed technically in catch wrestling. That's why face cranks are so good in catch. But that's a different argument for a different day, I feel. But yeah, everyone thinks of grappling, think of BJJ. We just need to advertise more grappling, different styles of grappling.
Yeah, I think the only judoka that I think most beginners or new people with judo or people who don't train judo that know is Ronda Rousey. So I'd be really curious if they brought Ronda back and like, or if she agreed to. This is like fantasy. It's not going to happen because she's making so much money doing something else. But if they were like, okay, American judo system, learn judo with Ronda Rousey, or have Ronda Rousey do a clinic, like a 2-day clinic, like, and charge like $300 for it. I wonder what the number.
She definitely charge more than 300. She'd be like a 500 or something.
Yeah. So let's see how many. That would be an interesting experiment if they meant for unlikely event that happens. So it'll be interesting to see, because that would be a good indicator of, hey, you just need to market better, right? If someone average knows your name to that extent, and they're willing to come pay $300 for this, then it will work. You just have to market better.
But so that's a very interesting thing that might be happening next year. USA Judo, I've heard, there's no confirmation yet. I don't know if I get an email afterwards. By the time this video comes out, there might be one. Is going to raise the price to $100. And it looks like you're going to get the American judo system with it, which I think would be a good deal. If it's $2 a month, you get all the videos, all the texts, everything. And if they still do those live events that Anthony really wanted to go to, but didn't get to go to, that'd be fantastic.
If they fix those issues I talked about earlier, and they add like an Uchimata thing, or like basically the live classes, if they have that, and the private Facebook group, because if they have stuff like that, then I wouldn't mind paying for USA Judo. If I had to pick between the three, the 60, 70, and then the $100 one from three, I'd pay the $100 one. No questions asked. Though I'd still have to pay USJA, because that's what my coaching clinic is until it expires. When it expires in 2023, I'll see what happens then, because I kind of don't want to give my money to USJA. Well, I don't want to give my money to any of these three organizations.
If they do a clinic here in California, I would love to go to it. Okay. Like I said, they're going to have one in Florida. If they have one in California, I enjoy going to clinics. I just haven't been able to go to one in a while because I've been busy with stuff. And, we have COVID. But hey, they have clinic out here. I'd love to go to it. All right. So let's move on to another topic. Just talk about this. Go something happier. So this is a little interesting thing right here. So it's end of the year. So most places give like end of the year awards, end of the year trophies and stuff. And the IJF is no different. So the IJF did these end of the year awards. They posted it on their Facebook, their Instagram, and on the website itself. So me and Anthony are going to go through the topics that we think were interesting. And let's go for the first one. So what do you want to go through? What do you want to do? Men of the year or female judo player of the year? Which one first?
Or ladies first.
All right, so let's go to female judo player of the year. So, Anthony, who was the IJF female judo player of the year?
This year, Krasniki.
Okay.
Kosovo. Yeah, I mean, well deserved. Like she was doing great.
No, she did really well.
Yeah,
she did really well. Did she place at the? What did she get?
She got.
What did she get? The Olympics?
Bronze.
Yeah, I want to say she got bronze. I can't remember. I should have wrote this down and stuff, but
yeah,
I was more interested in my own picks personally. But
I'm totally looking up now.
She did really well. Kosovo's been coming up.
She was gold medal. Yeah.
Did she?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Then that was she fought.
She was in the 60, 48 minus 48 lightest category.
Yeah. Who did she fight? In the finals then? Who was it?
Oh, I was so disappointed in the Olympics that I kind of like blocked it out. But
no worries. Okay. But no, it's really good if someone from Kosovo getting that far. That whole country's been coming up. And we're actually going to talk about their coach later. But
Funa Tsunaki. That's yeah.
Who was your female player of the year?
I mean, I'm biased and I love Krista Degucci. So I would pick her, but honestly, again, it would be Monkbot. That's me.
Oh, Monkbot. Okay.
Monkbot. We talked about her all the time. Like,
yeah,
I don't think it's like, oh, you won gold once, like judo player of the year.
Yeah, but she won. But this year she took bronze in the World Championships, and then she took bronze in the Olympics also.
Yeah, but
it's kind of
like MVP. You know, in a lot of leagues.
Face. I don't know. He's looking it up right now.
A lot of leagues have.
Anthony, did you freeze?
No, I think it was you. Okay, let's continue.
We both froze. Okay. All right. Okay.
No, so I think it's Monkbot. It depends on your definition of MVP, right? Like some people are like MVP is the person that's most consistent or contributed most to the team. It's not always the star player. So really depends on who you're talking about. But Monkbot's super consistent, always makes it to every tournament, competes a lot. Good at both the like ground game and stand up. She's like the complete. She's the complete package judoka. That's to me is MVP. I don't know like about anyone else. Right. Like even Krista Degucci and what's her name? Like some of the top judokas, they like Dari Blow did. Sometimes they lose like the first before the final block, right? This happened, but Monkbot is just like super consistent, always on the final block. At her age too, like yeah, I think she's MVP for me. What about you?
All right, so I'm going with an easy one. I'm going to cop out. Tell me like, oh, of course she's going to pick her. I'm going to go with Uta Abe.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that too.
I'm always impressed with her judo. I think she has just really good judo, really cool newaza. The way that she won the gold with that cool, like head over wrestling pin thing. That thing's a work of art to me when she gets that thing. That's just nice.
She's also the complete package. Like, yeah, I don't think her, like, again, her newaza is really good, the Japanese judokas, but I think most Japanese women's judokas, newaza are turnover based versus Monkbot is like, she'll turn you over, she'll choke you, she'll arm bar you, like that kind of stuff. Yeah. Right. So,
but to me, it's like she goes to the Olympics. She has all the pressure that's on her and her brother because they're expected to get gold medals. She competes. They compete on the same day, I believe. And her matches before her brothers. She competes first, so she gets all the pressure on her. Boom, wood to the pin, gets a gold medal. So at one Olympics, she gets a gold medal, and in the team tournament, she got a silver medal. So yeah, you have one Olympics, 2 medals. That's kind of cool to me.
It makes me question, like, what are the criteria for this award? Because I'm like, now that you think about it, if you're talking about just accomplishments, then yeah, Uta Abe should be the female player of the year.
I think so. She did really well. Yeah. She had amazing judo. That's me. That's me. Like I said, some people are like, of course, Juan's going to go the Japanese player. Of course, Juan's going to pick her. Of course. But I just like her judo.
You can't argue. So you can't argue with that. If you're talking about just competition results, you can't argue.
To me, it's just you go out to win, and that's what she does, you know, and that's what I like. All right. So those are our picks for this year. Let us know what your guys' picks were. What you guys think about them. All right. So what was the IJF's male judo player of the year?
I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, but it's Lasha Shadashvili from Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did he do this year? He competed in the...
He's 60 kilos, I think. Yeah.
Okay. I know we talked about this earlier and both of us were like, what did he, like, I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be mean about this, but it was like, what did he do? I don't like, I know his name. But I don't remember him being
73 kilos.
I don't remember him like doing super crazy good or like have this amazing throw or something. I don't remember that. But
yeah, that's what, again, what's the criteria, right?
He's very supportive. He's not the Georgian guy that threw the police officer in Japan.
Well, he's got one gold in World Championship. So yeah, in Hungary, 2021 Hungary, he's got gold World Championship this year. Olympic, he got silver medal. Yeah.
So he's a current world champ. Current world champion and got silver medal at the Olympics. All right.
I don't know. I think Shohei Ono, like honestly, pound by pound, like how do you name someone else judoka of the year that's not Shohei Ono? I think
I got one for you. All right. So your judo player of the year, you're saying, is Shohei Ono.
You can't argue. There's no debate about it. I mean, this guy got gold in World Championship just because Shohei Ono didn't show up. Well, you know how the Georgian judoka we're talking about in our dojo knows all the Georgian people?
Yeah.
The next thing I know, this guy's going to show up to the dojo tomorrow and be like, I heard you talking about us.
No, it'd be a photo with him like, hey, I was with my best friend right here. We're talking shit about us. Yep, Anthony was. Go get him, Anthony. Have fun. Oh, God, I hope he doesn't die. All right, so that's your male judo player of the year. Okay, yeah. You're all Shohei Ono. You're all day Shohei.
It's not that I'm biased to the Japanese. Like I think part of them are just like we don't want to make a list that's full of Japanese judokas, basically.
Of course,
but they're that dominating. They are
Japan had a great year this year. They hosted the Olympics. Yeah. They're sending out their best players so they don't look stupid in their own country. You have to remember that they're like sending their killers out. All right, and that then goes to my judo player of the year. It is God, I always say it.
Hifumi Abe?
Whatever. Abe's the boy Abe. Hifune. You want to know why I pick him? Because that guy got me a 6-pack of beer. That's why. He's a badass player. I like the way he plays. He's the one that goes out there and he's not like, I'm going to wait for this perfect thing, wait for that. He looks what he has and he goes for it. He goes for the win. If I see it, I'm going to attack it. I'm going to kill it. So he goes to the Olympics, wins gold medal. Okay. Go to the team tournament. He gets silver. And him and his sister are just like, hey, we're just here for the party. All right. We got gold and silver.
He wins, but he's also very technical, but he doesn't dominate like Shohei Ono does. Like, all right. Shohei Ono is just like, you can see the fear in people's eyes when they fight him. People don't get scared when they fight Hifumi Abe.
Well, and here's my thing. Okay. Cause we're going to talk about this later with my player of the year. So, he beats Moriyama in the tournament. You know, they have that.
I beat like with those there's BS rule sets.
How long was that match again? Was that like how long was that match? Like what?
27 minutes, 25 minutes?
27 minutes. Yeah. 27 minutes. Such a long match. So Moriyama goes to World Championships, wins World Championships. Okay. So technically, if Abe beat him to go to the Olympics to get his spot on the team, wouldn't that mean that if he went to the World Championships, he would have won also? So if he would have gone himself, I know you're getting mad at me, brother. I know you're getting mad at me. So technically he could be in 1 year. He could be this year, the Japanese player to be the world champion, the Olympic champion, and silver and gold medal, silver in the team tournament.
Didn't we talk about that French girl that did that?
Yeah.
Won the world championship.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. All right.
But yeah, maybe she should be player of the year. But no,
well, we're just talking about male players. So that's why Abe is my male player of the year. I like the way he fights, goes out there, gets the medal.
What you said is not true because in that match against Moriyama, they didn't call the rules IJF style. They called whatever the hell they felt like.
La 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 la. I'm not listening. I'm not la la. You're still mad about that. You're all bitter still.
Yeah, because it was not fair. It was not a fair contest. So
it's totally fair. All right. I like Mariyama. It's just he waits too long for that beautiful Uchimata.
He also has a really good Yoko Tomoe. So
well, now he's going to it now because everybody knows that. So that's a secondary. He's doing that during the World Championships. Like everyone's expecting his beautiful Uchimata, so he's going for his Yoko Tomoe instead.
He even mentioned it in an interview afterwards when he won the whole thing. He said, like, I still have a lot of work to do because people are starting to find ways to stop my Uchimata. So I need to get better. That's what he said.
His Yoko's nice. It's a good throw. I like it a lot. So that's our female player of the year. Here's our male player of the year. What was the IJF's player of the year?
Did they have that?
Yeah, they had single player of the year. I think they did.
I don't think they did.
No.
No.
Are you sure? I could have swore I saw male just player of the year.
There's Ippon of the year, moment of the year. No.
Yeah, all right. So so let's go.
I want to talk about the coach. The coach of the year.
Yeah. Who is your? Let's just add it then right now. Let's add it. So, who is your judo player of the year?
Judo player of the year. If you're talking about just like accolades, again, Shohei Ono.
Oh, again, Shohei Ono. Okay.
Pound for pound, he is like the best. There is no argument against, like, there's no argument for it. He also,
I can make two arguments. One I really don't like. I don't want to make because I don't like, but I
was because the way he lost the team's tournament.
I can make it.
No, Shohei Ono, like definitely.
That's your play of the year. Okay.
That's my play of the year.
Is he retiring this year? You said something about that? That he was become a coach or something? Or is it somebody else?
Kosei Inoue is retiring.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That's because they have term limits in their their positions. But
they have term limits. You've done 2 terms. Sorry, you gotta get the fuck out.
Exactly. I'm for term limits. We should do that here. But no, if it's accolades, it's Shohei Ono. If you're talking about in general, like overall, I want to say Chris Gucci. Actually, I'm trying to not be biased here, but honestly, it's like, I think what she accomplished is pretty impressive. Like she took the ban. This is not from this year, but she went to another country and she had to wait a long time before she could compete. And she was like thrown away by Japan as like, oh, you're not good enough for the team, basically. And she came back and beat all their players. Like, yeah, I think that's pretty impressive. And she's
pretty badass. Yeah, it's pretty badass. That's pretty cool. And I get it. They all have good reasons. I understand where you're coming from, man. I'm giving you shit because we're friends and stuff, but I know where you're coming from. I know the type of judo you like. So I get it.
I like clean judo. I like clean judo. And you like the type of judo I like.
Yeah. I love clean judo too. I just try to say I like only ugly judo. Dirty American player. For me, my player of the year, and I always messed up her name, her first name, and her last name. Clarisse Abigdenu. Yeah. Oh, thank God you said her last name, because I was going to try. Yes. She is a killer. In 1 year, let's get this straight. In 1 year, she goes to World Championships, gets gold. She goes to the Olympics in Japan, faces a did she face a Japanese player in her last match? I think she did. I'm not 100%.
I think she did.
Faces a Japanese player for gold in Japan, in the Budokan. And guess what? She wins. So she gets gold at the World Championships, gold in Olympics, and then at the end of the week, competes in the team tournament and gets gold there too. This woman is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist in 1 week and a world champion. She has 3 world championships in 1 year. This woman is badass. All right. That's why my judo player of the year is Clarisse. I got to drop the mic right there. That's it. That's all I got to say.
Again, accolade wise, yes, I agree. But how do I say this? I think in that weight class, the competition just isn't there.
That high. One of the heavier weight classes. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it is in judo, the heavier to get, the less beautiful, spectacular judo you're going to see. And the judoka that, how do you say it? The one that dominated before, she's from Slovenia. I think she was like the best in that weight class. Tina Tresenjak.
Tressinger. I don't know how to pronounce it. She's retired after this time. So she's like past her prime. So beating her was like not super impressive to me. So I don't know. I think she's that dominating because there's just not that much competition in the weight class versus like, think about like, all the weight classes. There's always like few people, they're going to battle it out. Here, I don't know anyone that's at her level though. Yeah. But watching her judo, it's very normal judo. I think you don't see anything crazy. So maybe I just don't see it. I'm not saying she's bad, but yeah, that's my
our dojo next. Anthony, go get her. Have fun.
Yeah. I don't know. Her judo doesn't excite me. Let's just say, put it that way. So, that is actually one of the weight classes where I'm not very familiar with because I don't find it interesting, but yeah, I can totally see. Yeah. That's still impressive. Like winning 2 Olympic medals and a world championship within the span of 2 months. That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's just the training. And then she's preparing for the Olympics in France in 3 years. Hopefully she competes then as well. And hope that she does well, because now she's going to have the pressure on her of competing in her home country, being expected to get gold. And a lot of people I feel don't understand that, especially if you're a good judo country, Japan, France, 2 of the best judo countries in the world. And now you're hosting Olympics one after another. It's just, that's a lot of pressure to me.
She's 29 right now. So come Paris, she'll be like 32, 33. So, yeah.
And if she does, hell, man, after having a year like this, I might retire already. 2-time gold Olympics, world championship. I'm done. Wipe my hands. I'm out. I would not be angry. This is the top of the peak right here. Right? This is the pinnacle.
Yeah, but it's good to see the level of judo competition around the world. Like we're talking about how Japanese are dominating, right? But it's not the same dominating that we saw in the past, like where it's like France, Japan, Korea. Well, not Korea anymore, but
if I want to give a shout out to like, is there, God, what would the category be called? Like most improved or underdog?
Underdog,
maybe. Is there, because I got an idea right now, because you're talking about countries that are doing well. It feels like would the IJF have, what were their other categories that they give awards for?
Pawn of the year, male judoka, female judoka, moment of the year, rising star, just rising star.
Rising star. Okay, let's do rising star. Okay, that probably goes with it. All right. So what was the IJF's rising star this year?
From Georgia too. Ilya Sulamandis. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Yeah. He won one of the bronze medals in the men's 100 kg event in the world championship.
Ooh. Yeah. It's a big boy then, rising star right there. They're expecting him to take over Teddy Reiner's spot then, I guess.
Yeah. Or the 100 kilo was Libertiliani he's past his prime now, but he was like the top person in that weight class before.
Okay. So who is your rising star this year? Who are you impressed with this year?
Rising star. It has to be someone from Canada, honestly. Like I'm going to get lost for it. I don't like Klim K's, especially Christian. So we're seeing Christian tomorrow.
If he shows up. But this will be in the future. We would have seen him already. Ooh.
Yeah. So
hey, Christian, this is a shout out for you. All right. You better get the dojo.
I don't like
the dojo. No, make you look stupid.
There's actually like people on Reddit actually really like Klim K. There's some French Canadians that really like her. Yeah,
I can see she did well. She fought for her spot. They gave it to her, like I say, any given Sunday.
So here's my unbiased view. I don't like her judo. And I think it should have been Taguchi, but she was a rising star of the year for me. You can't deny her accomplishment there. Okay, I'll give her that. Yeah.
She did. She won the world championships, right?
Won the world championships because Taguchi got knocked out early. And then she got bronze in Olympics.
Yeah, to me, that's what sealed her spot. Like, okay, she deserves it. She won the world championships. Like, all right, any given Sunday, you have the tournament of your life. That's your spot. For me, I cannot remember the guy's name right now. But if I tell you who he is, you're going to know who it is. The guy that fought for Chinese Taipei, Taiwan.
Oh, yeah.
Bronze. He took bronze, right?
Yep.
Took bronze in Olympics. That guy right there impressed the shit out of me.
Yang Yongwei.
That guy impressed the shit out of me, you know?
Yeah.
Taiwan is not known as a big judo.
His judo is really clean too.
But like you said, he's been training Japan a whole lot. He's improving. He's doing what he needs to become a good judo player. And look where that got him, you know? Yeah. Look how far he got. That guy, I tip my hat to you, sir.
And guy, despite the terrible calls they make against them, like even the whole Taiwanese team, they get terrible calls.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this guy right here might be a little biased, in my opinion.
I am not Taiwanese, but yeah. That when he won, it became a huge deal. Like I play video games with some people from Taiwan, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy. They're talking about him all over the news right now." And
yeah, he did amazing. He did great.
So that's going to help grow the sport there. Yeah. We're going to talk about the coach. Yeah.
All right. So that's our upcoming judo players of the year. So yeah, let's go to coach. I didn't pick a coach out. We just talk about it. I got some good points of why he's coach of the year. So it was what was his name? I didn't.
Dritan Kuka from Kosovo.
Yeah. So he's coach of the year, and I totally understand how he's coach of the year. I like looking up. He takes a country that's good judo players. Like they're not like super known for judo players. He takes a country that's good judo players, goes to the Olympics, an Olympic cycle. And of course, Japan's going to be number one. Okay. Japan took 12 titles. France is going to be number two. Okay. They're two powerhouse countries. France took, I wrote down here, took 8 titles. Kosovo took 2 gold medals. Okay. They didn't take a bronze or silver or anything else, but it took 2 gold medals. They came up 3rd out of all the countries in the Olympics.
A small country, small team. It's just like amazing what he's done with them, you know, and he no money too in the beginning. So I really want to wait till the day he retires and writes a book about coaching. I would totally buy that. I would go to watch one of his training sessions or his clinics if I could. And I know he talked about in an interview about how he's got offered a lot of money, go to be the coach of another team in another country, and he turned it down. He turned it down. So
yeah, it's good for him. You know, have that respect. And after when that came out, I looked at, I was like, you want to know what, like, cause I know he had 2 gold medalists already, but like, let's see what he did. They just did really well this year. They placed at a lot of tournaments. And I just took, like I said, another one, I tip my hat off to you, sir. Just a good job. And off my top of my head, I don't even know who I would nominate as coach of the year. You know,
it's not just like one-offs too. Like, you know, like you get lucky and you get like, oh, this guy's really good. So, some countries, like think about like one example I can think of is like Moldova has, Dennis, Vieru. Like these countries have like one-offs where they're like really good, but he's like 2, 3, 4 judokas that are like at the really competitive at the national level, winning medals. And then now one of them, Kelmendi retired, and they have newer people coming up the pipe, and they're showing like really promising judo skills too, and growth. And it's like, okay, whatever he's doing, it's working. Basically, it's not like a one-off where they have like some supernaturally talented judoka. I'm not saying they're not talented, but for such a small country with limited resources, being able to output this kind of stuff is like crazy. And some people would argue, well, they live in Europe, they can just take a 2-hour train ride to Italy or whatever and train with the team there. That's still money money and time. And and it's like you're training with them, but they're not giving you their secrets, you know, like,
but that's the whole thing. Is like all good judo players train different countries. You know, when Travis Stevens was doing really well, he was talking about how he would always be in Japan. He would always be going to Japan and traveling or meeting up with Eliadis, and they were training together. You know, that's what good judo players do. That's just what they go to places to get better. You know, not everyone has Japan or like France where they can stay in their own country because they know they have the best players
or have the money to send them. So, So I'm really curious what's his method basically.
It's like Rocky IV. That's his method. They're out chopping trees down, coming up mountains and stuff. That was judo coach of the year. Other big thing was judo moment of the year. So what was it? Was the IJF moment?
Yeah, for those who watched it, it was when in the World Championships when Sarah Asahina was fighting his fellow countrywoman, and she hurt her knee, so she had to forfeit, but she wasn't able to walk off the mat. So she picked her up, piggyback style, picked her up, and this is like the heavyweight weight class. I mean, I don't know if I can piggyback someone my weight, you know.
They're two big ladies,
and she like carried her off the mat and then bowed before she stepped off like she's supposed to.
Yeah,
and
everything properly.
Yeah, that went viral on the internet for a while, at least in the martial arts circle, and that marketed judo in a very good light about our respect and culture. So
yeah, respect for each other, helping each other out, building a judo fundamentals of mutual benefit. You know, maximum efficiency, mutual benefit. I help you out, you help me out. You practice, I practice.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Sarah Asahina, this is her second world championship, and she's doing her residency as a doctor now. So the whole time she was training, winning world championships, and going to med school. Like, that's freaking insane. Like,
now I don't want to get this messed up again. Didn't you tell me that her dad said this might be her last year because she didn't become practice?
That's what they said. Yeah. They said that's what they said. So we'll see if it's a rumor. So I don't know if that's true.
God, I would hate to be one of her patients that's like, I'm scared of needles. It's just that Iponse knocks you in the floor, boom, hit you with the needle or something.
Yeah.
I can't get in bed. It's all right. Kataguruma, boom, get him right into the bed right there.
She kind of reminds me of Ruslan from our dojo.
Really?
I'm just like, man, Ruslan, at the very least, you could just suck at judo, you know?
Good at judo. He's a lawyer. I'm a lawyer, you know, but you want to know what? My passion, I want to become a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mother goddamn. But that was a really good moment. You know, I love that moment too. I saw a lot of people show it to me, send it to me like, oh, is this judo thing? It's like, oh, it's a big like mutual benefit. Like I always say, like for most judo places are going to be with cool people. Like, yeah, you might get a place with some not so savory people, but you know, most places are going to be good people for the most part. And it just shows the heart and the kindness of judo.
Yeah. I was saying before I forgot again, because we kind of disconnected, but I'm glad that we know that Japan is dominating, but it's dominating despite the level of judo around the world has increased, except for America. But
it's decreasing right now.
But Japan was dominating even as level increased, so it just shows how they like elevate themselves even higher. So the game has definitely changed in terms of rule sets and the meta and the game in general. But still, I think overall judo's level has just like went way up. Grip fighting, controversial, debatable, but overall the throws, the movement, the speed, the tactics, everything is just like higher level now. And it just makes you appreciate it more that how some of these people are still dominating so much when the levels increased. Usually, you'll just see different people win because everyone's on that level because it's hard to go that much higher once you've like got that high. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the sport goes from here.
Yeah, it's always be interesting to see what happens. Like I said, in 3 years, France has to host the Olympics to see how France does. If they thought that was pressure being a good judo country, now fighting in the judo country was, now let's see how you're going to fight in your own homeland and you're expected to win gold again, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see how it happens. So that was the IJF's Judo Players of the Year, Moments of the Year, Coaches of the Year, and then our thoughts on what we thought should get those awards also. So Anthony, do you have any aspirations or resolutions you're going to make for next year for judo or even our channel?
Yeah. So why don't let's start with our aspirations and we can talk about what we thought, our thoughts on the channel and our judo this past year. But my resolution so far is to start competing again. My knee's been starting to feel better. I still have some bad days, especially with the weather raining and being cold. But I think I'm at the point where I can start competing at some smaller tournaments. It'll be my first tournament as a black belt, which doesn't really matter because when I was brown belt, I was fighting black belts anyway. But it'll be different. Yeah, and then hopefully if my knee feels good enough and COVID and work schedule permits, I'll travel to maybe not Florida. But yeah, like a bigger tournament. Let's just say, I'm not going to say nationals. Let's just say a bigger tournament, like not a small local one, like a big tournament. Assuming tournaments come back in California. But I really need to start prepping. Cause when I do randori and also mock shiai at our dojo, I've been fighting in a way to prevent injury. So it's really conservative, and I need to change my mindset back to the aggressive attacking, more like with higher chances of injury. But it's right. What I'm doing right now will not work. I can't go in a tournament like this because this is the way I've been training for 2 years, and I need to readjust the way I train. So that's my resolution, is to get back to the way I was fighting before.
That was my resolution. To whoop more ass, take more names. It's pretty much the same as you. It's like, I want to compete again. I love competing. That's one of the, like, I'm turning 40 next year. Okay. And I like competing at least twice, sometimes 3 times a year. My goal before COVID even happened was to actually do some catch wrestling tournaments and maybe even do a BJJ tournament as a white belt or blue belt, depending on what level they let me do it as. But with the way COVID things are, it's just, I just can't take the chance with my work. As most people know, I'm a working actor here in Los Angeles, and we get tested every day before we work. We get tested, and every day we work, we get tested. And if you come up negative test, you can't work, and you get it was an automatic 2-week suspension from whatever set you're on and stuff for a production company. So I want to compete. I want to do this stuff, and I wish I can, but how things go, it's all that matters. Like we were talking before, we were planning to go to the USA Nationals when it was up in Reno. I was like, that's not too far. Like, I don't know how long the flight is, like maybe a 2-hour flight or something. How do you think
it's probably 2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. 2-hour flight or whatever, an 8-hour drive, make a little road trip of it. But now I was in Florida. I'm like, I don't know about Florida.
Yeah.
I know out here, since we're part of the NACA and stuff, we hear what's going on with NACA. Last year, this current year, they were talking about having the Winter Nationals in not Reno, in Vegas. And before I was like, I'm not sure about how Vegas is, but I'm getting itchy. I really am getting itchy to compete. So I was like, oh man, Vegas, I might go to Vegas now. Even with Texas, it's not that far of a drive. Maybe I could drive to Texas and have something out there, but Florida just seems so far, even for a drive or a flight, just so far for me. So my goal is just to start competing again. And I have to start maybe learning some new things for coaching, because that's what I develop more now as I'm getting older, to become a better coach, to help people more. And I want to develop more my system of no-gi judo. So I'm actually planning on putting out I already made made one series of videos with Catch Wrestling Alliance. It's available on their websites, on their system there for buy. I believe it is. You can buy us there. But I'm thinking about how I already do the once a week Uchikomi videos that you can work on your own. Well, I'm going to start adding something to it. I'm going to start adding maybe a once a week no gi technique you can do, because there's tons of gi techniques out there. You know, I can only teach you how to do Tai Toshi my way so many times, but there's not a whole lot of people that talk about judo techniques with a no gi, whether it's with rash guards or without rash guards. And I get people ask me about all the time. So it's like, why not? I'm just going to put it out there finally. So Anthony, get prepared. We're going to be in a rash guards or t-shirts or something. Yeah. I'm start throwing you. All right. And we can put that on our channel, or I just put on my own stuff.
I mean, I'm interested in no-gi technique, so we should do some training together. I mean, we're not going to be able to host a class, because I think in order to take no-gi judo to the next level, you have to host classes and do randori and stuff in that. And actually, you should talk. Speaking of 510 judo from earlier, Jonah, they have no-gi judo classes. So maybe you can talk if you're interested. If you're interested, you can maybe talk to them about that. Maybe we can do a road trip up and go train there, for a week or something. Actually,
this guy's always want to take a week off work all the time, Anthony. I got to work. All right.
I don't have. I didn't. I
had to make movie magic. All right.
Okay. I should have not taken this week off and take next week off. That's what I should have done. Then I don't think they're open. Maybe they are. Maybe I'll take a road trip up to to the Bay Area and visit. It's a good time. Actually,
he's just trying to get away from his wife for the holidays. He does not want to spend years with his wife.
Yeah. So I think no-gi is good. There's a market there for it, and demand for it is increasing.
That's our next goal right there. because we put out these videos. And if you're out there and you saw our egg video, it was not a hard-boiled egg. It was a real egg. All right. And I'd love to see your guys' video showing us how the egg lands on your mats. And Anthony still needs to make the video of egg landing on his own mat at home. But we're going to do some no-gi videos out there. That's our next little judo science thing, probably. Yep.
No-gi videos would be good. We're starting to talk about our channel now instead of our personal goals.
Well, my goal, our channel is my goal. You know, I have my own personal career and stuff being an actor, but I want to build up our channel so it becomes bigger, more people can see it, and more people appreciate what we put out. I'm not saying I don't appreciate, but I do think we put out some interesting things that other people don't talk about. We talk about judo things. We talk about different judo things. I think we're not open-minded.
That's why, that's why I wanted to start this podcast with you, is because the things we talk about aren't most of the stuff out there, as I mentioned before in other episodes, it's like Travis Stevens, Jimmy Pedro interview. Like, it's all about super high level competitive judo, which is not realistic to most people who don't even compete. And then there's like super recreational judo. That's like Aikido, almost Aikido, like, you know,
that's super Aikido-ish.
I mean,
that's actually funny, because that's another thing I need to start working on. Is I got my third dan last year, like over a year ago. I got my third dan over a year ago. I need to start walking through my next kata set, and they figure out which my next kata set's going to be. And I did start walking through it to figure it out, so I can at least demonstrate it and do it properly. So that's another goal for this year.
I mean, there aren't a lot of judo content creators out there, and think about how many of them are like coaches or own a dojo, or their main job is judo related, basically. And almost all of them are, I think I'm thinking about like Shintaro. He owns Kokushi Budokai. And then Jimmy Pedro, that's his business. Travis Stevens, that's his job. Like, everyone's like a national team member. Like, so I think it's important to have the perspective of someone who just wants to take judo seriously, but that's not their life, you know? Like, I'm a software engineer. I work a day job. I have a wife. I do other stuff. So judo is just a big hobby of mine that I take seriously. So I think we have this niche market here, but we just need to, like you said, do find out what helps grow the platform, because you can only talk so much about judo, you know. Like,
I can only teach Tai Toshi so many ways. All right. It's just that.
I'm really surprised for the longest that we're going to the channel again, but I'll talk about it later. But
personally, say it now, unless it's bad, unless you're gonna piss me off.
No, I'm really surprised. Like, when the last year when we did this, the most popular episode in terms, because if you look at purely at our YouTube view counts, they aren't that high, but most of our views and listens come from our podcast, audio podcast. Those numbers are doing really good. So if you only look at our YouTube views, it's not that high, which I understand, because not everyone wants to sit there for like 2 hours or an hour and a half and watching us talk. But people would listen to us in chunks in their car or on their commute. So that makes more sense. But our best episode for a long time was the interview we had with our Sensei Philippe, because he's like really well known, I guess, in Sweden. So when he talked about it, like we got like a huge number of subscribers from that view, and that was our best episode for a long time. And then after that was when we did the judo gi short videos, like the difference between the judo gis. That was like our pretty high view count. But now our all-time best is actually the episode we did on beginners judo and judo teaching methods, pedagogy. I can't pronounce that word. So that is that is our all-time best episode. I did not expect that. And I know again, there's videos out there about, as a beginner, you should learn this, blah, blah, blah. But it's always like, again, from high level coaches and stuff like that. And it's like, well, what you're saying is not very realistic for most people. And that's not how I learned, at least. That worked for me, because I'm like, I can't do that. I'm not super athletic and like all that. I don't have like 8 hours to train or something, but I actually do. But this, but so I'm really surprised that episode was that high. And part of the surprise is because we didn't get that many comments or feedback on it, but we got a lot of views from it. So I don't know.
That's fine. So is there anything else you want to talk about, Anthony, or is that it?
No. And what do you think about this past year? Like, how does your judo been this past year, especially with COVID? Like, it's been hard, right? This past year is the year that we're reopened.
Yeah. So my judo this past year, when we first got, like, I continued training the entire COVID time. Like, I didn't take time off. Like I said, I bought a bike for my house. So I was riding my bike all the time, so I wasn't going running. I started lifting more. I actually was doing a little bit more karate because it was easier to do karate in my house than it was to do judo uchikomi bands all the time. And I would do judo uchikomi bands too, but I would just do a lot more karate. But when we first got back inside the dojo, like, I made this joke of like, man, either people have really improved or I really suck. Because certain people that I could throw easily or I wouldn't give me a hard time or trying to give me a little bit of a hard time. And I said that to somebody and they kind of took offense by it. Like, what do you mean? It's like, because shouldn't be that hard for me to throw. Like, I was working a lot harder to throw people than I normally would. And it's like, oh no, it's just pandemic. But it was weird like that because you weren't used to, I guess, maybe the throwing around people and moving people and stuff and doing the hard randori, especially with the mask. Because remember, we're in California. I have to be very safe with me. So I always wear a mask the entire time. I know some people would take their mask off or like try to take it off or have that half on, half off thing. I keep it on the entire time. And that's why when I made some of my judo videos during the pandemic, I kept my mask on the entire time. It was a show. If I can work out for 45 minutes, an hour or longer wearing a mask, you can go to the store for 20 minutes wearing a mask. All right. Yep. So that was for me. It was showing that. I actually had someone ask me about that, and I told that to them. They got really upset when I said that to them. Like, what? I can't. Where it's like, I just did a big throwing workout on this video that I showed you, and whatever. But yeah, there was that weird like getting back onto the mat and a little bit having a harder time throwing some people. But had my judo improved at all? You're saying, or has it decreased? I'm not sure it decreased, but it definitely hasn't improved. But I have had to add some old tricks or things that I haven't done in a long time. That I was watching like a YouTube, like there was one Jimmy Pedro thing on one of the American Judo System videos where they're teaching an overhook and grabbing a gi. And I was like, oh shit, I haven't done that in years. But I used to do that when I first started judo because it was a wrestling technique I brought into judo with me. And I used to always do Tanyo Toshi with it. And I would sometimes do Ogoshi. And they showed it with Uchimata and Harai. And I was like, shit, I totally forgot that technique. So I was working on that for a while. But it's just different, you know, getting used to wearing a mask and practicing.
Yeah. For me, it's the same.
Do you feel like you improved or deproved or unproved? What do you think you did?
So the past year for me has mostly been rehab is how I would summarize it. My knee, like I've been taking my rehab seriously for my knee and it's actually starting to pay dividends now. I'm starting to feel normal from my surgery, basically. But what you said about the mask is true. Like we had to adjust and it actually forced me to be more efficient with my strength usage. I thought I was efficient before, but after the mask has actually been even more efficient. Right. Before the pandemic, my favorite throw because of my knee injury was Sasai and Nosoto, like that 1-2 combination. And I've noticed that I stopped working on, I guess it's because I've been fighting more black and brown belts. Like it stopped working on them in randori. So I've been like doing a lot of Tai Otoshis. Like the first time I actually threw Mustafa. If you know Mustafa, he's like this guy who was in our Egyptian national team. The first time probably the first and only time I threw him was with a Tai Otoshi.
And then you regretted it immediately afterwards. So then he just went 110% and threw you through a wall.
But after that, I started doing that more in different entry angles and I was landing it like left and right. So I guess that's my Takuya Waza now. And I always thought that was my, I do it the classical way in my head. But if you look at my Instagram post, it actually looks a lot like the one that Philippe does. Yeah. So I'm really
we train and do all the time. Yes.
I'm surprised that it looked like that. But I'm still trying to work on my Uchimata. It's my favorite throw, but I haven't really gotten much success. Well, in the way that I want to do it, not the outside style. So, I've been spending a lot. I was telling you the other day, I'm spending a lot of time on Uchimata in terms of researching and asking people. Like when I went to Japan, I asked a bunch of senseis there. And then people at our dojo, I asked them about it. People at the Kodokan that I see do Uchimata, I asked them about it. And recently I just bought the Judo Masterclass series, the books. So I bought the Uchimata book and I've been reading through it and I'm like, I actually, throughout all my research, I've actually known all these things that he's talking about and all these things. And just like me, he considers the Uchimata that I refuse to do because it's effective to be ugly. He was like, yeah, everyone thinks this Uchimata is ugly. So yeah, it's just the book is kind of reconfirming things that I kind of came to a conclusion myself through all these years of practicing. And I'm like, oh, I'm right. This guy says it's right. So I have to be right. So I just have to practice more.
Just get to reaffirm it. Yes, I knew it.
Because sometimes you wonder yourself, right? It's like, okay, I notice these things and I think this is the reason why it's like this. And I should do this to fix it. But then you kind of question yourself. That's why I go around asking different people. And then when certain things, like I've told you this too, when I ask people certain things, their way of doing the footwork might not make sense to me, but their hand movement makes total sense to me. So that I will take that piece of information and add it with something else I learned from someone else. And when I piece it all together, it's essentially what this book is saying is how you should do the Uchimata. So yeah, that's my overall past year has been rehab, Taotoshi, Uchimata. That's the three word summary.
And some weird Newaza stuff that you saw online that you wanted to show me.
Yeah. I basically had to reassess my judo since I got my Shodan. I'm like, okay, I'm a Shodan now. I need to really up my game. I can't just go around doing whatever the hell I feel like before and find, I got to start deciding what my bread and butter is and start focusing just on those. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. That's my other resolution. Just in prep for competition, I would have to start sharpening those skills in these select judo throws. Yeah, I'll always have sasai and osoto in my back pocket, but it never felt natural to me. I don't know if that makes sense. It felt like I was forced to do those because of my knee injury. Okay. So it always feels like if you watch anime, it feels like you had those like weights tied to your shin, like
yeah. It was like one time when I dislocated my it was one of my bad dislocations I had on my right hand, was it? Or was it my left? I think it was my left hand. So I couldn't pull with my left side, like for a lot of throws and stuff. So I had to do everything with my right hand pulling instead. So pretty much all left-sided throws. That's why I became more ambidextrous one time. Because I had a really bad dislocation. Like it popped back into place. I thought it was okay. And then I took off the splint and then it popped back out again. Like, no, pop it back in again. And then I overcorrected it. So they got really stiff for a long time. Yeah. So that's what happens when you get injuries. Like that's why Ronda Rousey became so good at arm bars. Because when she messed up her shoulder or her arm, her mom just made her do arm bars instead. I think it was when she fought Edith, the match where she complained about something about that match where she lost, and that she said that she dislocated her shoulder there. Yeah. Oh, okay. Which is against the rules. So, and all she could do after that was just do arm bars. That's why she became really good at it. So if you ever hurt a side, trust me, you're gonna get really good on the opposite side. If you hurt her knee, you're gonna get really good with your arms. You hurt your arms, you're gonna get really good with your legs. It's just how it is in judo. Yep. So yeah, another thing we didn't talk about is the beginners class that we started. So you want to talk about that? Well, just briefly, I just want to say that it changed the way I approach the teaching. So, because different people are different. Some people are naturals and some aren't. But I've noticed some of the things that I used to teach people who Kemi aren't commonly taught by other people. So maybe we can do a video on that. And then Philip can get upset at me for the way I teach it. So if he watches the whole video, he'll just watch like 2 seconds, like, oh, I hate it. Blah, 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 blah. No, there's this exercise. You probably see me do on the side. Like I've shown people on why relaxing and breathing, not holding your breath during Ukemi is important. And people, when I have them do that exercise, they really understand it. So so we can do that. No, we could. Yeah, I'm happy with our beginners class. I'm glad that we started it. I think we're teaching people proper judo. We're not just throwing them to the wolves like we used to, because our old system of, so we'd get a new person and we'd get like a brown belt or a black belt's not busy to go teach them ukemis. So they would learn okay ukemis. But after a week or 2 weeks of working Ippon Seonagi and Osotogari, after that, it's like, okay, you've been here for 2 weeks, be in the regular class. And it's getting tossed by people and like, oh, okay, you've been here for 2 weeks, do some randori, and just get destroyed by people. And then be like, oh, why'd they leave? Why didn't they stay? But now we actually have a real set beginners class. Our friend Eric Mendez teaches teaches once a week. I teach 1 day a week. He teaches on Tuesdays. I teach on Saturdays. So if you're in the LA area, you're a beginner, you want to come to a Saturday class, that's my class. You want to come to a weekday class, that's Eric's class. And right now, because of how slow it is, we're allowing some of our white belts. I think we're allowing all our white belts to come to our Friday class, our Friday regular class, because it's supposed to be just technique. So, but we're trying to ease people into it, not just toss them to the wolves like we used to. So I really like the system we developed, and we're going to develop it even more. Sensei Philippe wants to create a new system of the belt ranks that we have and what they should learn, what he feels that they should learn.
The Philippe American Judo system.
It would be the Swedish
American Judo system.
It'd be the Swedish, Italian, American, California system. Dash Los Angeles, Hollywood.
Pending trademark.
Oh, speaking of trademarks, did you ever get us our Twitch channel? Like I told you to?
I did.
Okay. Thank God someone didn't steal it from us.
So why don't we talk about that?
We're gonna have a Jimmy Pedro on us.
So we kind of already touched upon this past year for our podcast. So let's just like add a bit more. We already talked a lot about it, but I'm really happy with the growth that we had. It's not like, oh my God, we got like 500 or 1,000 views, which has happened to other. No, I've seen some other channels do it, but let's just say they post questionable content that I don't agree with. I'm not going to name which channels, but I think at least I think we try to talk about stuff that we know about, or we make disclaimers saying, hey, this is just my opinion. I'm not 100% sure is right, but this is what I think. Like, or from time to time, we interview people that proves what we know is wrong. For example, we just talked about how, they didn't charge money at that submission grappling tournament. So we got corrected there. But we originally thought it was for money, right? Yeah. And if I could, I would category. Yeah. If I wasn't getting married that weekend, I would have went to the tournament. And like
if I wasn't getting married this weekend, I would have gone to a judo tournament.
I would have I would have confirmed it for myself. So I kind of really like the content we're putting out. I think some of the other stuff people put out there is just kind of like, this is how my sensei always taught me, or this is how it was taught to me, or I YouTubed it and this is how I do it. And it's like either dangerous or just wrong, like, I'm trying to think of examples of some myths in judo. Yeah. I don't want to piss people off, so whatever. Basically, we try to maintain neutrality. We do have some controversial views that we don't share on here too about judo. I think the only one I publicly do share is that I don't want to give money to any of the 3 organizations. But that's just kind of sharing the life of how we as like serious hobbyists that compete look at judo and train, I guess. Yeah. But
back to the thing at hand is that we got a Twitch channel. We tried another dojo tried demonstrating when we had the judo tournament at our dojo, the crosstown tournament. We tried streaming on Twitch, and I guess it worked for a little while, but it got too choppy, so they decided to pull it down. Anthony wants to look at how to fix our internet at the if it's fixable.
It's not a technical problem. It's a people problem. I just say it that, because we have to like talk to the community center, and they're run by old people. Old people aren't very technically advanced, and then you'd have to convince them to let you.
They're not streaming like us. Okay. It's like, as long as I can check my email and read my blog, that's all they care about, but Anthony has a garage and he has good internet at his house. So what we're thinking about possibly in the future, either doing a judo, maybe video of like we do a workout, or maybe a live stream of us teaching nogi or our favorite techniques sometime on Twitch. And it'd be maybe a Twitch thing, maybe it could be an Instagram thing, could be a YouTube thing. We're just trying to figure out what we want to do and what we want to do it on. Anthony loves Twitch, so we're probably going to do it on Twitch first.
I don't love Twitch as a company, but I recognize it as a platform to grow.
Yes.
So,
all right. So that's something that's in the future you might look forward to. We might do like our own little fun 1 hour clinic or something.
Yeah.
Our clinic. Not how long we teach. We might have some of our own friends on there also. I might get Raul maybe come over and teach some nogi, not nogi, but teach some catch wrestling stuff maybe. Or have a friend of ours that does sambo come do some sambo things and relate it to judo because it's all grappling, you know, it's all grappling. We all work at this together. All right. So hopefully it's something to come in the future.
Some of the stuff we talked about doing in the future is if tournaments start happening again here, we're going to like start like obviously get permission by interviewing people, like live streaming from there. So that would require a whole nother setup. So yeah, if there is, let me know if there's an interest in it. Cause I personally have to throw money out of pocket to make it happen. But for example, live streaming at a place that doesn't have good internet, I would have to pay a monthly fee to get one of those the hotspots. So let me know if that's interesting to you. I'd have to actually get all the equipment for it. And well, I'm not going to, if you watch streamers, they go overboard and have all these crazy setup. And no, I'm just going to get very fundamentals equipment at first. And then
as you can see, we're very simple setup guys, you know?
Yeah. But like, for example, we started off with like crappy mics, and then now we got a pop filter because we had more viewers. I got a mic arm because we had more viewers. And if we have more interest in that live streaming stuff, I would start doing that more. But it's like, who's interest? I can't think of people who live in Europe would want to look at American competitions, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So they would see our dinky competitions at our high school gym that we find and be like, what is this? Is this real judo? Like,
is this a local club tournament? Like in-house
this
tournament?
Is the real American judo system right here. See,
but that's what I'm afraid of, but I'm sure other people would be interested. And I listened to most of Travis Stevens, Jimmy Pedro, Ron Rass, all their interviews. And honestly, all of them are the same after a certain point. I want to listen to that guy who's a lawyer that competed on the weekend, what his training regimen's like, how he balances judo with his life and any injuries he had and how it's affected him. Like, that's the kind of stuff I'm interested in. Like, I'm never ever going to be like Jimmy Pedro. It's too late for me. So,
no, it's never too late. It's not too late. No.
Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff I'm curious in and want to share with everyone else. So that's something, one of the ideas we had. I know we talked about doing more, we already said instructional videos, because like when we did the legal technique series, we had a lot of positive feedback on that. I mean, there's only so many illegal techniques. So maybe we can go over dangerous stuff that's not illegal that you shouldn't do. And there's also some illegal stuff that's not as obvious that maybe we can start talking about. Like on Friday, was it Friday? No, Wednesday. Last Wednesday, you remember the sambo guy came and was doing the turnover arm bar, and you said you can't do that. So like shoulder, some less obvious stuff that we can say you shouldn't do because A is either illegal or B, it's a gray area. So depending on the ref, you might not get away with it. Or you just shouldn't do it in randori because it's dangerous. So maybe we can do a series on that. Yeah, but we still have some more egg videos coming up. So go to first.
At least 1 or 2 more egg videos, maybe 2. We're going to do, I might do some more egg experience, but let's show how great judo mats are. But we're first going to do Anthony at his house when he gets off his lazy butt, rolls out his rollout mats and drops some eggs.
Hey, I was driving around looking for COVID tests, but after this recording session, I'm actually going to go in the garage and record it before I run out of eggs. I have to go out to buy more. But there's that. And we also talked about like ukemi videos, like actual less, like I said, there's some stuff that I teach that most people on YouTube don't talk about. Most people focus on the hands, where your feet is, how to do the roll, tuck your chin. There's plenty of stuff out there already. And then, there's some minor details that I think is at more advanced level of ukemi that you find in books that they don't really teach people. And the reason they don't teach it is because on the mats, it doesn't really matter. But when you get thrown on concrete, it matters. And we're going to do that
We're still gonna do that judo experiment video. We're gonna do a forward ukemi on concrete. You still want to do that?
That's what I'm still practicing for that. So that the reason why I found all these information about advanced ukemi techniques is because I'm like prepping for that. And there are certain things about your ankle position and your knee position that you have to be careful of when you do that.
Okay.
And
this is all to come next year, people. All to come.
One example is, you know how we always tell beginners you have to slap the mat hard. Mm-hmm. You don't want to do that on concrete.
I've done it on concrete.
I've tried it before. I almost broke my hand, basically.
You slapped too hard.
Yeah, I slapped too hard. You don't want to slap as hard as you can on concrete. So there's things like that. But yeah, so we can do series on that. If people have any other suggestions, we're open to it. We talked about doing some randori videos, like just me and you. I know it's kind of like taboo to record dojo practice sessions, especially after a conversation I had with someone from Sawtell about a certain video that was uploaded. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand why they don't allow it, and there's a good reason. But I think between just me and you or our friends after class, I think that'll be fine. So we can do some of that.
All right. All to come next year. You guys, a lot of stuff we want to come out. A lot of content we want to show to you guys. A lot of stuff we hope that will help you out and just, make you a better judo player. That's all we want. Make people better judo players.
Not just better judo player, but again, Juan is about competing. I'm more about recreational. So for me, it's more about being safe and extending your life as a judoka and having fun. That's the most important thing. Like, there's no point in doing something you don't have fun with, right? So
you don't have fun winning? Everyone has fun winning. Yeah, hell, sometimes I have fun losing, man. Sometimes when I get thrown, when I'm losing, I have some more fun. I may have more fun when I'm losing than when I'm winning.
Yeah, when I get thrown by a beautiful technique, I love it. I love it. Mm-hmm. But when I get like wrestled to the floor, like I'm just like, okay, that's not very impressive. So like,
all right, so let's just wrap things up, because now Anthony's just rambling about what he wants to do this entire year, and I hope we can get all this stuff out there. Okay, we hope, but we'll see. All right, so everybody, please be safe out there. Please have a happy, safe New Year's. Don't drink and drive. Use an Uber, use a Lyft if you can. Have a friend drive you can. Okay, be safe. Wear a mask. I know it sucks, but I just want people to be safe out there. So, Anthony, is there anything else you want to say goodbye to?
Yeah, Happy New Year. Thanks for all the support everyone has been giving us and the views and telling people about our podcast. And I hope everyone's learned something out of it or find it entertaining. We're still doing it on this upcoming third year because we have people watching. And I know when I first started the podcast, I'm rambling again, but when I first started the podcast, I was always like, who the hell wants to listen to me talk about judo? Like
a lot of people.
But a lot of people told me like, hey, you have a lot of interesting views and you do a lot of research on books, and I don't hear a lot of stuff you say that other people say. So I would be interested. So I'm glad I did it versus like listening to my doubts in my head and just being like, nobody cares about some random guy that
in a corner
trains recreationally.
Thoughts in my head. Thoughts in my head.
Yeah. Right, so thank you. Stay safe.
All right. Happy New Year's. Please like, share, subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram at Tatami Talk. You can follow us on YouTube at Tatami Talk. If you have any questions and you want us to talk about things you want us to look over, you can send us at tatamitalk@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram at @Jerry_Juan. You can follow Anthony at Anthony Throws on Instagram. So Anthony, you ready to say it?
Yeah.
Don't forget to
slap the mat.
All right. See you guys next year.
Yeah.